the truth.
I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. The government told me, listen in, it's May 19th. It's a Tuesday, 2026. Well, we all know that's a lie. All right, well, did I live in a different universe like a week ago when we were talking about we were going to go over there and knock boots with Iran again this week? Am I the only one that was knowing that? Was I living in a universe where that was okay to say, we were saying it, but we weren't saying it. We weren't acknowledging that we knew, but then now we're like, oh, what? I don't understand it. There's some pearl clutching over the idea that Trump said, well, we were going to be in there and doing our business on doing the doo-doo on their heads there, right? And so maybe I was living in some other world where I already knew that. So, all right. Cool stuff. Good to see you guys out there. All right, so a couple things. Today is I'm named today's show Imagination. You know, in the past I'm like imagination. You know, like times where people making up stuff and it just really is ridiculous. And I have to do the brevity in there to try to break it up a little bit because it is so much. But I am astounded by people's upsettedness over people getting parts of their life back either through money or cleaning up their record or, just a sorry. And so Trump is doing some stuff like that to go back in and there's people that suffered for things that really, we run for office. It shouldn't be painful. It should be painful, but, it shouldn't destroy your entire life. But the idea is there's a lot of people on January 6th. There's people who committed suicide over this stuff. There's people who have lost it all, which is not hard to do sometimes when you see the amount of pressure they put you under. But there are people upset over the fact that Trump said, instead of you going at, listen, I'm going to paraphrase it. Maybe I better go back here and read this, but I'll paraphrase it. Trump said, instead of you give me the money you guys owe me for the whole bad warrant thing, well, you go create a victims fund, and I'll drop my lawsuit with the IRS. So what did the IRS do? If I remember right, that's exactly how it went. So let me see if I can go in here and find that where it's Trump told reporters in the White House Monday that 1.776 billion, 1776 billion weaponized fund, which was created as as he dropped a $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS, would be reversing people that were horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. So I guess this is how he quoted it. Anyway, so instead of taking the $10 billion, he said, hey, go do the 1776 fund to help put people's lives back together who feel like there was a weaponization of the DOJ. How about we just say that? We don't have to say Biden era, but that's me right in the middle of that. So there's a lot of those people like, hey, well, that sounds really cool, but here's a problem. That's not my deal, right? I'm not at federal like that. That's not my issue. Mine's a local. And so a lot of these times, these big things like, going out and doing this fund and doing, we'll give you a pardon. Well, it doesn't work at the state level. The state crimes, that's why they try to bang you around down here at the state so you don't get up there, and then the federal, that gets big too. But anyway, so Trump's he said, hey, keep your $10 billion. How about I get about 2 of it out of you, but you give it to other people instead? All right. He sounds like a jerk. And listen, guys, hey, I'm not, he's not my golden goose. I am constantly worried about this guy's decisions making, and I am still out on some things. There's a couple juice box stuff that's really got me a little twisted right now, and I don't like it. Because it seems like, and here's what I do like about Trump. And maybe I need to talk about this, because this is the part that just drives me nuts, because people don't think in this way. But he'll feign weakness. He'll feign like he fell in, like, oh, the meat, what is that, my shirt? Oh, I didn't get the meat grinder, didn't get me. See, oh, it did get my shirt, though, didn't it? But it wasn't me. You didn't get me. There are some things that, like, just like this little thing here, the 1776 thing. Cool. Saved us $8 billion, and some people might get their lives put back together. Just a little here or there, right? Sometimes it's not a lot, just needs a little. Pay off a mortgage, do a, this or that. Try to find where you can put back those things, right? But then there are things like the juice box stuff, and I'm really having a hard time with some of that. I'm having a hard time with some of the Ukraine language, but I'm hearing what's going on, and I'm watching it, and then I look, and I don't know. I look up Kiev, and it's like 10 miles from Russia, yet Putin is going clear south and like working his way west. I don't know. It's so to me, this has more to do with, actually, I think Putin is probably supporting the locals and their separation from Ukraine. There's going to be more of this to come out. We're not getting the truth on the front lines. We know that. We know this is hey, by the way, all the areas that have been attacked, quote unquote, attacked by Russia, have been exactly the hot zones for all the biolabs and the different biomechanical stuff that's been going on too. And that's not a Jim Price. I made it up. Hey, Brenda, good to see you. Thank you. That's not, and make that up. That's their own that's their own stuff. And then we can go back to the Gazarian Mafia things and things of that nature. But I am really surprised that we have really fallen for a lot of things. And I'm not trying to be. I'm not whatever I'm supposed to. But I'm not whatever it is. Okay, so that way, hey, I'm neutral. I'm not a. Golly, we can't even stand up for anything because they just rather kill you than deal with you. But I got some problems out there. I got some things I'm still working on with, I'm watching. But here's the problem. He seems like he's really weak in some of this stuff with Iran. There's some weakness from the other side that was supporting the incursion or the dismantlement of the nuclear operations of Iran. Here's the thing. It's got people talking about it very specifically in a very specific way. And people are, I think some people who have already grew up. And by the way, guys, listen, this is a hard thing for me. Our coalition going into Iran has been with Israel. And I was taught as a child, and this is hard because I don't know if I ever said this to kids or anybody else I was teaching Sunday school lessons or youth group or any of that stuff, but we were told that Israel, like, you go over there and you just like walk a little lighter, just a little closer to heaven, and that is to be protected above all things. And I did not know the history of Israel at that time. Like, I know it now, frontwards and backwards and sideways now. But when we were in high school, even the popular education, but now we know Ghislaine Maxwell's father owned all the education books, so no wonder we got, oh, God dang, no wonder we got lied to about that. I mean, guys, if I was writing a book about my family or my lineage, I mean, I'm not going to shine that turd up just a little bit. I'm not going to make it just a shiny turd. I'm not going to leave it all, ugh. If I got a crappy family, I'm going to try to work some things in there, put a little rainbow in there, right? Anyway. I would tell you guys the problem is that this idea with what we were loyal to, and I was a First Bible Baptist. I was I went to Catholic church till I was 5, but then with Marge and Charlie, I was close to 9 or 8. I was 8 when I met him, and then uh, started going to Baptist church, First Bible Baptist, which was very, very strict, very. Whew. There was variation. So there's people there who had TVs, and we had a black and white that Marge and Charlie saw the moon landing on. That black and white I graduated high school with in '89. I think that TV was there when I came back in '90 or '91. So anyway. And I just lost where I was going to go with that because I went off on that whole deep end there. I hate when I do that. It just drives me nuts when I'm all off on the deep end of something and I completely got off on Marge and Charlie. And then the memory started flooding back and I lost where I was going with that whole thing. Going back to the Bible, or going back to, because I was First Bible Baptist. So anyway, but yeah, from the pulpit as a First Bible Baptist, that was kind of like almost a, oh, you get to go to Bethlehem, you get to go to Israel, you're going to go. There was a lot of that breathy tone talk when people would do that. And so here's the problem. If my family has got a little bit of turd on its face, maybe I'm going to tell everybody that my people are better than the other people, or I'm going to turn the World War into a Holocaust, and then tell people that these numbers, and then I'll start changing the numbers, and then the numbers keep kind of get a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger, and then eventually it's just such a monster I can't control it. Sorry, I'm just a purveyor of logic or information that should be verifiable forensically forwards and backwards, right? Ghislaine Maxwell Father's daddy thingy. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a whole thing. But yeah, the whole Israel thing, that really disturbs me because I look back on it now. It's like, why were we just so preached that is, that's what that's our mount, that's our mount, whatever, Kilimanjaro, that's our Mount Fuji, that's our what, And now we see the people who are actually touching that information weren't always the best people on earth, and now it's all being exposed. So here again, guys, do we not get to renew our existence? Do we not get to renew who we are? Do we not get to go back and say, you know what? We really kind of effed that one up, man. We're in a bad place. But you know what? When you hit that kind of bad place like that, you get to go, you know what we're not going to do? That same old shit. We're just not going to do that corrupt stuff. We're not going to do the slack in the voters' rolls. We're not going to do the slack in how the votes are counted. We're not going to. By the way, you could do 2 lotteries every week, and that's not a problem, right? Right? You could do that whole thing, right? You get that down to a second, man. They know who you are before you know you're a winner. You don't even know you've won. Do you realize that? By the time you usually find out within the 3 minutes of the replay, they've already know who you are. Because it doesn't take that long anymore. Now they know where that ticket was sold. They know the camera footage. They already got it uploaded. They've already found who you are. That's all just automated to them. That's just their normal. But here's the problem, guys. We know that a lot of these people who have been paid out on these big old whopping lotteries have been people who were actors and players in the biggest screenplay ever called Earth. These people got to play their parts. They got to be the whoever it was. They got to come back and, oh, I'm John Bonet. Oops, I died. No, now I came back and oops, I'm this person. Oops, now I'm that person. Nope, I'm over here. Oop, I'm over here. Holy shit, guys. I don't know. Anyway, so, what do we get to actually say rationally what's real? Which is real is each other. And the sad part of it is a lot of what we're going to experience going in the next few years here is that we're going to be thirsty for the actual fact of seeing a human being, like a video like we're seeing now, whether you believe it's real or AI. Because, see, AI is getting pretty good. They could actually just do exactly what I'm doing right now, and you wouldn't be able to tell, and it would kind of screw up and herky-jerk just like I do. They could pick up my characteristics, so I'm feeding into the internet, and they're just scraping all this information from me to create a better me. a me that they can go and tune up to tell you exactly what you want to hear and the way you want to hear it and the right color and the sound, and it all just feels good? Or do you want somebody who will kind of tell you, hey, once in a while you got to smack yourself around, you got to jump up and down, you got to stomp your feet, you got to get your lymphatic drains going again, you got to get your head drained out, you got to be better. So now what? So this is, again, there's a lot to us, guys, and we have so many reasons to love our lives and be better. But I don't know. Seems like we're trying the wrong way. Courtney Allen, what are you doing here, girl? I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Hot minute. Uh-oh. Let's see here. $1.4 billion in Ukrainian cash flooded Romania during the 2025 presidential election cycle. Now, does that sound familiar? Have you guys ever heard of such a thing on God's green earth? Are we still allowed to call it Earth, or is if you're a flat earther, I guess, well, you still call it Earth, right? Because, okay, we just say it's Earth. I don't have to define which hand I wipe with. We'll just all say we live on Earth. And some can say it's a ball, and some can say it's a disc and a controlled environment like a clamshell with a snow globe. I mean, hell, I'm up for it, right? But I think in a finite way, in a greater magnitude way, I think that we're all right. Because somewhere along the line, there are planes that we don't understand or they don't exist in our reality. We only see less than 0.01% of the light spectrum. We are a gnat's fart in the world of things. Like, I don't even know what is smaller than that, and then farts, maybe algae farts. Like, we are just an algae fart, guys. I mean, I don't get. Anyway. Oh, we give ourselves so much credit here, but anyway, Ukraine flooded with cash. Here we go. A wave of revelations surrounding massive cross-border cash flows from Ukraine into Romania. During last presidential election cycle, it intensified scrutiny over what many are describing as a broader pattern of political interference, financial and elite-level corruption tied to Kyiv's ruling circle. I don't know what are we supposed. Let me do the. Hold on, let me see. No. I mean, I feel so stupid even playing that sound. But are we learning anything from Ukraine yet? Are we? Is that our money? Ukraine, what are you guys doing? By the way, you guys are supposed to be like torn. You guys are the size of Texas or something like that, and like you guys aren't very big, but yet. You're taking on Russia, which is the largest landmass on Earth. But I mean, cool, or we say Earth, right, guys? We've agreed that we're both Earthers of some type. We all live on Earth. Snow globe, 4 columns, whatever we want to do. Why are we so surprised that there is corruption in Ukraine? And then why is it like it's that horrible sound I had to play. I don't even want to do that again. Don't make me do it again. Can we stop giving money to these? They could go over there and be pieces of junk all by themselves. Can we just not do it? Because I could have used $300 billion about 4 years ago. Well, 2 years ago. Yeah. He got a total of $300 billion out of us, guys. Do not lie to yourself. Stop. Don't. Okay, don't be mad. Don't be mad at me. Just, it's all the accounting's there. When you include the guaranteed loans, you guaranteed the weapons gifts that we gave them, and then we accidentally gave them like twice as much as we were supposed to, but then we went ahead and added even more to that. But then they needed the bullets and the bombs to go with the equipment that we actually gave them way too much of, and so then anyway, so just, and now we're like, oh, these people are messing with other people's elections. How dare they? What the? I can't believe it. My goodness, how dare you? I'm a fine, upstanding citizen of this here earth. I mean, what are we talking about? Like, this is but this is what we do. So here's the thing. What are we going to do about it? And that's the magic of it, right? Is that there's got to be some kind of accountability. I do understand that Elon Musk did turn on the tag. I don't know if people knew this. This is kind of why the scams were working so amazingly well. Is that they were getting this grant money, and the grant money was literally going out as if it was just a fart in the wind. The count number, there was no tether. Like, that was all they knew. But the problem is an IRS and the Treasury Department can tag any payment, and they can literally follow the money in and out and back around until it comes back through tax, and they know exactly where it went. But we had turned that tag off to even know who was receiving the money. So yeah, there was no way to even say, well, hey, I never received that. Hey, Hope Irving, good to see you. I never received that money. I have been watching it so patiently, whatever. So the sad part of it is Elon did turn that on. I think it's going to change a few things. We'll see how it all comes out. I do have some belief in Doge. I think Doge was the kind of the full circle with the John McAfee thing, the McAfee virus company. I really do see that is still coming back around. And again, guys, I'm not giving excuses. I'm just giving you my explanation of what I see. I don't like it. I don't like the timeline. I don't like how sluggish. It seems like we always have to feign this, like, oh, we're going to lose. And then we win, and like, oh, we're going to lose. I'm like, gee, many Christmas. Just let's get it over with. So anyway, but there are some considerations going into the near future with AI and robotics and some other things where a lot of what we're doing, like I said, they could do an AI of me. They just take and sample my brain through my AirPods or through the Wi-Fi in my house or even just my own phone, just X-raying my brain, right? And it's not X-ray in the way we think of, but it actually is monitoring the frequencies inside. So I don't know. I guess we all got to run around in copper suits, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for any of that stuff. I don't have it, but I do know selenium, and I do know that iodine, Lugol's iodine, potassium iodine, and selenium are the two things that you can put into your body, mineralize your body, that will reduce the absorption or effects of our radio frequencies. So things that are bad frequencies that we're getting a lot of this, what everybody goes, oh, 5G. I'm like, whoa, shoes. I wish it was just 5G. I wish 5G was, that's a pimple on the rhino's ass. There's so many other things. The amount of energy that they're now using to connect to these phones, the demand that's on these phones constantly is breathtaking. And it should tell you that you need to be on your selenium and your Lugol's iodine. Those are your two anti-radiations, even up to plutonium, what we consider to be atom bomb, nuclear bomb type stuff. There is absolute science out there that the more you have selenium and the more iodine you have in your body, you are not affected by it. It's literally just the weirdest thing. The very thing they took about all everybody's body. They took all the iodine out of the food, all the mineralization, and so you sit here and you wonder why you can't temperature control, your mood swings are everywhere, you go through early menopause. What do you think of the data centers? Well, this is a weird thing for me. I'm having some weirdness about the data centers. Now, the data centers I don't like. Here's the thing. They've actually proven that within so many years, our data on Earth will weigh more than Earth, which I don't understand that completely, but I do understand it because we are creating something no matter how minute it is. Anyway, these data centers, I don't think they're data centers in the way that you say data centers. Like you're thinking, oh, my Amazon goes in there and comes back out. Which to some degree you are correct in that. But I believe between the data centers and the wind generators, I think there's a frequency modulation and I think there's an energy suck that they're getting into that we're not a part of. They're getting into something going on with these data centers that I don't understand and I don't like. It doesn't make sense to me because there's a lot of weird stuff. Like we have so much data storage within our devices here locally and then other places that are even more local. But then these places are just being randomly kind of, and it's not I might say scattered, but it is very specific where they go, but it is not like, oh, hey, there's this huge industrial park that has all this great infrastructure and all these great things right here next to a major metropolis with all this major this and all that, which would support these 5,000 new jobs. No, they put them out in some weird city Not the one that's like next to it or one that's, that could handle an employment thing. Just weird places like wind generation. Why is it that there are freeways that run north and south and there's a lot of goddamn wind right there that's already public access roadway, right? They could stab those propeller craps right there, right? No, they're running them up and down in a weird pattern. I mean, we're in Kansas here, and those things go in weird ways. And I look at topography, and I like that stuff. That's kind of my jam. I like the way topography kind of explains a lot of things and why we don't really understand the world we live in, because we're like, oh, I know that this is how. I'm like, no, you don't. If you pulled back even further or even just ran your hands on a topography map of the world, it just changes everything. But we have all this public land, but we have all these telephone poles right there next to where people live. We could put little spirals right on top of every one of those. Those are every 50, 100 feet? Some intersections got 25 poles in it. Can you imagine all the wind generation off of some of these intersections are the ones that are running along the freeway where the trucks are creating wind as well? No. We're going to do these weird stab in the middle of wherever, data centers, these wind generation, which again, nobody has proven to me that these things actually are profitable, except for all the RENs. There are tax credits that make them absolutely, they're credits, they're energy credits. That's what makes them profitable, because the government gives them money, and then they can go sell that so they can then bother to do their job and keep some money in the bank. That's the only way ethanol and wind and solar exists. Do you know that? Look up energy credits. Look up industries who receive it. You'd be surprised how many are not energy. Kind of creepy. Anyway, so my idea is that on that, Hope Irving, I really do believe that there's something weird about location. I don't like what it's going on. It doesn't take. Here's the problem. Once you have a closed loop system, but what I do see they're doing is I think they're taking the water and pulling the memory off of the water. They are data collection centers, but when they do that, they're harvesting that energy out of that. And I know that may have just skipped a lot of people right there. And maybe I'm resonating with a bunch of people that didn't realize I was in that. But I do believe it's a possibility that the water they're going to be pulling out of the aquifers is literally just data mining for whatever it is it's feeding. And I'm telling you what, there's something else in this whole ball of wax that I think this is the disclosure of stuff. Hopefully we get to this. I'm tired. I'm tired, Grandpa. Keep digging. I think that's how that that meme goes. But can we just get the alien stuff over with? I mean, whether it's a bunch of dudes just been playing dress up, or whether they've been standing here the whole time, watching me in the shower, whatever it is. Cool. Let's just get it out there, right? So isn't that what we're all at in this whole play? We want to go into, and we all sailed off into the sunset, happily ever after. Is Trump doing this? No, he's not doing this, but I do think that it's necessary for people to be involved. And I will tell you, people are inherently lazy in ways that we don't want to admit even about ourselves. And one thing that I do see that Trump has done is he's motivated a lot of people to be very active. What about chemtrails? What about all this geoengineering stuff? What about blah, 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 blah? What about the whole, who buys the most glitter on Earth? And it's not strip clubs, So, sometimes people want things. Just like they wanted the shots. Some people wanted the lockdowns. Some people wanted lockdowns to be for 2 years. They legitimately felt like that was wisdom. They felt like they had lived enough life to understand that that's exactly what you do, and that's okay. Other people had different opinions. But anyway. So there are just some things out there that I think sometimes you got to be careful, because people want what they want, and if you tell them they can't have it, they'll want it even more. So if you went around and said, hey, we're going to make a federal law that you can't have one, every little town with 2 people in a zip code, we want the data centers here, that's lots of money. It's like, that's it. And then so we want people who are going to be intelligent, It does concern me that we're even thinking about whether we power those or not. It's like, no, dude, you want to go do something cool? Go do it by yourself. But I do know there's a landing place for a lot of the electrical fission, cold fusion stuff that's coming out, which will be here. There are people that are talking about being here by the end of this year, and we're talking about stuff in 2027 that would really change how we just even think about just our existence, like things that that are okay. Like we don't have to scrape by for those things. And so maybe that's why the AI of things will take over other things, because then we can go out and do things that are actually, connecting us back to the world we have. We don't have to do this race stuff anymore. How about if we just turn the treadmill off? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is me hopeful thinking, right? I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not a doctor or a scientist or a lawyer or what was it? Or a candlestick maker. What was that? That was a song, wasn't it? I just see how we could do it. And I see how there's a lot of things going on right now. But then there's going to be people who are going to try to put fear in what is freedom. And I actually had that conversation with somebody just yesterday, and they actually literally just the idea of freedom, they wept. Because they had never really thought about how they were living in something that was like a trap to them, and they were going to suddenly have freedom. So now what do I do with that? Well, who am I? So it's a conversation we get to have too. All right. Did you guys see any of the Jesse Water stuff last night on the UFO stuff? There was a guy he had on, which maybe I'm not the best spokesman for a lot of things, and it just seems like the guys who are really good at knowing the knowledge on UFOs or whatever it is, and they're articulate. They're not very articulate. They know their stuff and their dates and their names and locations and all that, and they got all the photos of the stuff. But then it's like the guy just isn't. It's just like the guy that hangs out by the dumpster at the trailer park. He's got nothing else to do, right? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if we're being duped into believing that there is, or we're being duped to believe that there isn't. And if I want to believe that I hit the top of the pinnacle with humanity, and we're all walking around here looking like, this. I mean, I gotta say, hey guys, we gotta try better. But if there are other things out there that besides us, what are we afraid of? I mean, that we're not it. I don't know. I guess I lived in a different neighborhood than that. I just, yeah. There's going to always something be bigger than you, no matter who you are, no matter how many of us there are, no matter how many planets we conquer. There is always going to be something bigger than you. That is the yin and yang. That is the big and small. No matter how high, or how far up, or how small you go, there is always something there. Like, we're finding parts of cells now that are just blowing our minds. And they're coming back with images within the cell of the body and going into things, and we're like, what? We're finding out what mitochondria is, just a frequency modulator. It gets in there and resonates, and you can clean that out with methylene blue, but we're able to see so much more, but we thought we had things figured out. But anyway, the whole UFO of things is just kind of a, I just want the truth. I don't want to be more snowblowed. I don't want to be more, hey, we're doing this because we want to keep our job here at the UFO department. Ding! It's like, we're important because we're the people who are talking to the UFOs. Or just go, hey, here you go. And the sad part of it is, I'd almost want you to bring Geraldo Rivera out there to redeem his entire life after his whole debacle, which I knew was going to, I don't know, as a child, I was like, this is stupid. When he was doing Capone's vaults, when they were just full of dirt, do you think they left their shit behind decades later? They didn't have somebody go by there and pick it up and take it? Anyway, I really thought that was where he peaked, but yet somehow he's gotten on Fox and other places, and he likes to be a stir stick, and for whatever reason, he looks great in a bathing suit. So, but maybe you let him be the guy who finally gets up there on the, I'm Revolver, and the wind's blowing his, hair, and so then he's like, I'm Revolver Rivera, I'm standing here on the platform, we're getting ready to meet the aliens. Here we go, that's the aliens. How's my, okay, here I is, the aliens are coming, my shirt off enough, all right. And they're like, yeah, here we go. It's a countdown. We've been here for 25 million hours. Because they said they were coming down here, and I guess they don't know what American Earth time is. Remember, we're all on Earth. Doesn't matter if it's flat or round. Don't fight. Shh. We don't have a lot of this shit answered yet. So anyway, let him redeem himself. He can be the guy who goes up there, and they come up and they just squash him because they forgot he's a good guy or he's the guy introducing everybody. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know, guys. I mean, I just want the truth. I mean, god dang, man. I guess it is kind of in my programming in a lot of ways. So I just want to, it's like, just, hey, tell me the truth. What is it? Cool. I can deal with that. But let's just deal with the grays or the, whatever, and realize that maybe we were part of a grand experiment. Maybe they were hopeful for us, and there was the greater things in future for us. I don't know. So, or they're just like, oh my God, we found these things, and they're trying to figure it out too. They're like, how do we talk to these things? They're kind of, cool, but they're not. And anyway, I don't know. I don't know what aliens like. Do you think aliens have hot rods and 56, or 56 Thunderbirds and stuff? Do you think that's what they're doing with the Continental package? I don't know what they do on their planet, right? So again, I'm just being very facetious here about this whole thing. Let's just get the truth. How about that? And the guy got it on Jesse Waters last night. I don't know what I was expecting. Anyway. But it wasn't anyway. By the way, Candace Owens is going to release her Hunter Biden interview. And guys, I don't know if you wanted to destroy your credibility or make. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this. I'm a huge Turning Point fan. As of a year and a half ago, you couldn't get me off a dead center. I went to the one right after the election. Amazing. Crowd changed a little bit from the years prior, but that one was still tons and tons of youth. Had a great time. And then this Charlie Kirk thing came, and then all of a sudden, here comes this Cupid doll person that we've never really heard of, but suddenly they're this person and all this background. But I will tell you that I don't know who's image coaching her. I don't know who's doing what, but if I was trying to fill my predecessors or my husband's or my whatever's shoes, I wouldn't go, stop. Just stop. And then there was this whole other thing she did just a couple of days ago. And everybody's railing her because she's doing this deadpan stare where you're seeing all the circle of the eyes, which I will tell you, folks, that is psychotic. That's not me. Maybe it's not even the word psychotic. There's probably something, but it's not stable. You're not in a good place. If you're coming at a person with both where there's white on top and bottom, that's like a big, fight or flight trigger for most humans. And she's serving that out like it's just afternoon tea. So I don't know whose image could make. If you guys know anybody tied into her camp or whatever, just tell her to pump the hate brakes. But anyway, Candace Owens, who has met with her, and that whole thing. Candace Owens has continued to spill the tea on all the things that we all were out there going, yeah, we know this. But then when she's saying it, we're kind of like, well, Candace, you're being kind of mean to that widower over there. Stop it. And again, listen, I am not, hey, you grieve the way you grieve. But I will tell you, whoever it is that keeps putting her out there needs to stop. It's not doing anything good for her. It's not doing anything good for the brand. There is some things now that I'm just worried about it. I think what that Charlie was doing really had a purpose, really had a meaning. And I don't know if it has to be Turning Point that can somehow be better, because even the rebranding has to be almost a complete toilet flush. So I just missed what I saw before. But anyway, I don't know who's been talking to her about things. But when you got Candace Owens, who's continuing to move on through things and continuing to show things where it doesn't make you the best person in the situation, and yet you come out with that whole thing, Stop It, which was just a few months ago, and then this latest on Monday or Tuesday, there was a whole nother grrr at the and they're saying like she's doing the Janet Jackson with the black hat and the black shirt. Anyway, Candace Owens is interviewing Hunter Biden, and so that should be coming out. And let's see where it's coming out. Candace Owens on Monday revealed that she recently sat down with Joe Biden's boy, and it's coming out this Thursday. So this Thursday, Candace Owens. Today's Tuesday, so you got a couple of days to get your things and get your affairs in order to watch this one. So hopefully you don't die watching it, because I don't know. I sometimes you wonder how authentic they are. I know that Hunter Biden doesn't do anything. He's not doing this. I don't know. I don't know why he's doing it. And he's kind of a weird case too, because he's got some laundry out there. But I don't know if this pardon thing is going to hold up the way he wants to, and some other stuff, because that thing, I think, is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. That somehow I feel like that's going to be another thing. And then Ketanji or whatever is going to be real big mad when she doesn't have a seat anymore, because that auto pen. Yeah, I think the only one I think who actually got a wet signature was Fauci. Was it Fauci? It wasn't even his own son. They pardoned him with an auto pen. If I remember right, there's some really goofy things that happened in that White House that, again, I'm enjoying it. It's been a good show. I mean, this last 8-10 years, I mean, if you're a political junkie at all, if you're liking it, or you got thrown into it like myself, I guess I wasn't a political guy. I just thought running for House, 3 months in the spring, 3 months in the fall, I can still do my federal contracting stuff. I could still go there, I could say, hey guys, I know my schedule and I need to be there for votes, know when I need to be there, but I be able to manage stuff even remotely. A lot of times, because of the position, I was a vice president, so a lot of times I didn't have to be there. I could just be checking emails, doing a little bit, maybe an hour or two of phone calls, do some Zoom calls, because then that changed everything, right? So I think, hey, yeah, run for office. Charlie Kirk was a wonderful man. I know God brought him in for such a time as it was needed in America. Yeah, for America and the youth. Well, absolutely. And guys, listen, this is the sad fact of this. This is just a lot of things, a lot of weaknesses that are being shown through the assassination stuff and through all these other things. We're seeing this is where I will tell you two things. One, I believe a fatherless home creates a devastating curve for any of the children. But then we don't struggle. I mean, guys, I want you to think about this. I mean, you may struggle to reach the cabinet because you're on your tiptoes or whatever. That's not struggle. I mean, when did you ever sit around and think, well, you have to go capture your next meal? Or you haven't eaten in a few days and you haven't seen water in a day, like literally haven't. Like when, I mean, and not because it's like, I'm on Naked Afraid, man. I'm doing the for real stuff. Like they can get, that's no. But we don't struggle, right? We don't get out there and grr. So that's, again, for me, I want to see our families get put back together, and I want to see that, we have that struggle again where, guys, that's what makes us great is when we struggle. We talked about it yesterday. All right. What is this? Oh, demanding poll watchers. Oh, this is, what is it? I wanted to, okay. GOP Senator Sue Raffensperger demands poll watchers be allowed to secretive bunker where statewide votes are tallied. Transparency should not be controversial. Now, what is she saying? Senator Gregg and two fellow Republicans have filed an emergency lawsuit against Secretary of State Brad, demanding a court order to let poll watchers and election board observers into the infamous bunker where the Georgia State... okay. Golly, I was out of text on... I was not in context with this whole thing. Okay, so this is where... Okay, remember when they went down to Georgia... When the devil went down to Georgia... When he went to Georgia and they took all those files, all those votes that we were not supposed to be able to have access to, and then they said they destroyed them, and then they weren't destroyed, and we don't know where they're at. Well, now we found them, now we can't have access. That's what this is about. So, update. Along with two other candidates, I have filed a lawsuit against Secretary Brad Raffensperger, seeking a court order to allow poll watchers and state election observers into the bunker where Georgia statewide vote totals are received and published. Transparency should not be controversial. So again, there's this is where it's going on. So and I guys, I don't like the lawfare of things, but I know it's how we end up doing a lot of this, and it's so dirty. The emergency motion seeks a temporary restraining order and a writ of mandamus to compel the office to grant real-time access to the election night reporting room, emergency operations center, and so-called bunker where county results are aggregated, verified, and released to the public. Secretary of State secure centralized election night reporting room, known in Georgia election circles as the bunker, is an underground facility on the east side of Atlanta where votes from the Georgia 159 counties are aggregated in real time and statewide results are prepared for public release. On election night, a small team of SOS staff monitors the process in a conference-style room setting as final numbers roll in. So, again, guys, we have 2 elections every week, and we know who the winner is within minutes. We can't have election results. Seriously. I mean, this is where it's just kind of, it's a matter of will, right? It's a matter of will. The truth says set you free, says Courtney. Absolutely. All right. That's not what it was. Oh, and here's where I went today. So today was imagination. Well, here's where I'm going to punchline this in before we get out of here. The Secretary of Education, Trump's Secretary of Education, McMahon, whatever it is, McMahon. She's actually showing that it was easier to get money doing it the wrong way through student aid than it was going through the front door through FAFSA. And just in 1 year, they've saved over $1 billion in fraudulent claims that usually would go through automatically just in a repeating style every spring and every fall. So that's a big thing coming out of a lot of that has to do with Doge and other people like that, where we're actually going out and scrubbing Social Security, files where we got 300-year-old people and things like that. So this is going to clean up a lot of that fraud that way. It's not perfect. It's getting better. I don't like the slowness of it, but I do wonder if there's actually something bigger that we're not seeing at this thing. By the way, the Epstein files is really actually just the tip of the iceberg. I think everything else is still in litigation or ongoing cases, and those investigations will come out, and that's not my purview. That's not my decision-making. I do know how the government works. I've worked with them for, 18 years, almost 18 years, and I'll tell you, the government's really stupid, and here's the sad part. When they actually engage, they know how long it will be, how much it'll spend, how much they need in reserve. They plan for so many weird contingencies in every single thing. So the idea that we have this going on in our country where they're talking about we don't know who is who and what is what, but we got a census coming up, and then like I've told you in the past, where China has only about 650 million people, not 1.3 billion. I think this next year's census is going to clean up a lot of things, but I do think it's going to have to take this fall's election showing that swing. So the sad part of it is nobody's willing to go out there and cut off their own arm or cut out their own tongue so they cannot wag it about. So selfishness kicks in. People don't want to give over that little bit of power or money they have in control, and so they make bad decisions, and that's where fraud comes in. And that's what this is all about, every bit of this. So, hey, Dave Glevin, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see you. Appreciate that. Again, there's so much about what we're seeing in this world right now. Guys, I want you to see the lessons in it, and then just be better than that. And every time you're just getting better, you're going to get a rise above it. It's not that hard. This is not foo-foo, woo-woo stuff. It's actually just how you work. See how they're doing it wrong and do better. And you'll find yourself in a far better place when this all is actually tallied up here at the end. So anyway, all right, well, great show, everybody. Good to see everybody out there. It's awesome. Thank you so much for all the comments and stuff. Let's see. I'm not going to be here Friday. And I won't be here Monday for Memorial Day, so I'll be back on Tuesday. So I do have Wednesday and Thursday. of this week. So 2 more shows this week, and then we're out of here for the weekend. All right, remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise. I promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember, the Constitution limits government, but never limits you. You've always had the power and the freedom to move your body and the liberty to create anything in your mind you want. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I'll see you.